Hey everybody, Taylor here from Ciao Bella Sewing. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable Halloween pillow. And if you'd like to make one at home, you're in luck because we are now offering this as a sewing kit at ciaobellasewing.com. So we will go ahead and we will ship you all the supplies and you can make this adorable pillow at home. Now, let's get started. Here are the supplies that you are going to need to make your Halloween pillow. You are going to need your Singer sewing machine, a pair of scissors, thread, preferably in colors black and white. You are going to need fabric for each side of your pillow, and I am using this adorable candy corn fabric. I've already used my felt to cut out a matching candy corn, which is going to go on one side of the pillow. You are going to need stuffing so you can put it in the inside of your pillow. You will need your hot glue gun, a tape measure, and your pins. Now, let's get started on this awesome pillow. Okay, as you can see, I have already pre-cut my fabric. I am making my pillow into the shape of a rectangle. So across I have 17 inches, and for my height here, I've cut my fabric 15 inches. Now, you can go ahead and cut your pillow any size that you want. You can make it into a square or a rectangle. It's completely up to you. Now, the next step, we're gonna go ahead and make our pillows so the right sides of the fabric are going to be touching each other. This is a very common step in sewing. Whenever you're sewing, most of the time, you want the right sides of the fabric to be touching each other. So in order to make that happen, I'm going to go ahead and take off this top layer of fabric, and I'm going to take the bottom layer right here and I'm going to turn it so the colorful side or the pretty side of the fabric is now facing the ceiling. Then I'm going to take my other piece of fabric and I'm just going to go ahead and lay it on top. So right here, this is exactly how you would like your pillow to be. You want the right sides of the fabric to be touching each other, so you can no longer see the pretty sides. Then, once you have this step completed, you're going to go ahead and take your pins, and you're actually going to pin all four sides of your pillow. So, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a few pins here and start pinning around all of my edges. I'm going to add about 3 or 4 pins per side. That's really all you need because you just want to make sure that your fabric is being held together. So when you do go to sew, your fabric won't move around and your edges will all stay nice and even. Okay, I'm just adding in a few more pins here on each side. And once you're done pinning, we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to stitch up this pillow. All right, all of my pins are now in place, and then it's time to sew. There's one last thing we're going to do before we prep our pillow and put it into the sewing machine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some double pins right here on the bottom. And I'm going to make an opening about 5 inches from each set of double pins. I'm going to leave this part of the pillow open so that way when we go ahead and stitch around all of the edges, we can actually flip the pillow right side out from this opening. Okay, as you can see, I've actually already prepped my fabric and placed it into the sewing machine. I've lined up the edge of my fabric with the 5/8 seam allowance. That is the most common seam allowance when sewing, so we're going to go ahead and use that to stitch up all the edges of our pillow. Now, I'm going to start sewing right below one of the sets of the double pins. That way, when I go ahead and stitch all the way around my pillow, and when I come up to the second set of double pins, that is my indicator that it is time to stop right there and reverse. So we're going to leave about 5 inches open on one side of the pillow so we can go ahead and flip it right side out. Let's get started on sewing. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Make sure to reverse. And then you're going to continue around all of the edges. Now that we have our pillow sewn up and we still have this 5-inch opening on the top, we're gonna go ahead and take this pillow and turn it right side out. So just go ahead, put your hand in the opening and start to pull the fabric so all the colorful parts of the fabric start to show. And then what you're going to do is poke through each corner of the pillow. This is going to help it look more and more like a pillow. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep poking the corners here. Okay, this is looking awesome. I can't wait to see how this turns out. I have one more corner that I have to poke through. And again, when you push through or poke through your corners, go ahead and put your hand in the inside of that opening and then push them through from the inside. It's a lot easier than trying to do it from the outside. Okay, so this is looking great. I'm so happy with the size of it and the shape of it. And now it's time to go ahead and add that adorable candy corn to the outside of the pillow. And I'm actually going to grab my hot glue gun and just go ahead and hot glue the candy corn right here to the middle part of the pillow. Okay, I'm just going to use my hot glue gun to finish securing all of the edges of my adorable candy corn. Once you have your candy corn secure to your pillow with the hot glue gun, you can go ahead and you can actually start to stuff your pillow. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little pile of stuffing and I'm going to pull it apart 5 times or so. So this way your stuffing becomes extra fluffy. So when you go to put it in your pillow, you're going to have a very nice and soft pillow. So since I've pulled this apart several times now, I'm going to go ahead and put it into the pillow. And when I put it in the pillow, I'm going to make sure that I push the stuffing first to all 4 of my corners. Then I'm going to go ahead and fill the middle part of the pillow with stuffing. So go ahead, keep pulling apart your stuffing and stuff your pillow to your liking. Okay, now that our pillow is stuffed to our liking, we're gonna go ahead and sew up that hole on the bottom of the pillow. So this is our very last step before we completely finish this adorable pillow. So go ahead, find the opening, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna go ahead and fold the seams together so that way the edges are looking very nice and you're gonna have a nice crisp and clean edge of your pillow. So what you're gonna do, go ahead and grab some pins and just go ahead and pin the opening closed. Again, you wanna keep this top part of your pillow folded in so you can go ahead and sew it closed and it's gonna look really nice. Okay, we are on the very last step before we completely finish this adorable pillow. We just need to go ahead and sew up the hole that's on the bottom of the pillow. It's what we just pinned. So I'm going to go ahead and actually place my fabric into my sewing machine. And what I'm going to do is actually line up the edge of my fabric with the edge of my presser foot. So I'm not going to sew on that 5/8 seam allowance. For this step, it's actually better to sew closer to the edge of your fabric so that way your seam is less noticeable. So go ahead, start to sew. Make sure to reverse as well. And then you're going to go ahead and just stitch this closed. Now that we've sewn the hole closed on the bottom, we are completely done with this adorable Halloween pillow. As a friendly reminder, this is available at ciaobellasewing.com as a sewing kit. So this way you can go ahead and make this adorable pillow at home and get ready for Halloween. Happy sewing, everybody.